Welcome to Knowtology, where you can explore the depths of historical events and gain a greater understanding of the world. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the fall of the Berlin Wall, an event that marked the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new era in European history. The Berlin Wall was built in 1961 as a direct result of the Cold War tensions that were escalating between the US, USSR, and its allied countries. The East German government initially only intended to build a temporary barrier, but due to the continued flight of its citizens to West, they were forced to fortify it and make it permanent. The wall was not just a physical barrier, but also a psychological one, representing the division of the continent and the ideological divide between capitalism and communism. However, what many people don't know is that the wall was not only a division between East and West Germany, but also between East and West Berlin, cutting through neighborhoods and even families, causing a lot of pain and suffering. Acts of resistance. The Berlin Wall was not just a physical barrier, but also a rallying point for those opposing the communist government of East Germany. Many brave individuals, some of them like Peter Fechter, were killed trying to escape to the West. But despite the dangers, acts of resistance and protests against the wall continued, both in East and West Germany, throughout its existence. The collapse. On November 9, 1989, the East German government announced that East German citizens would be allowed to travel to the West. This decision was the result of a combination of internal and external pressure on the government. On one hand, the East German economy was struggling, and the country was not able to keep up with the modernization and reform happening in other Eastern Bloc countries. On the other hand, the demonstrations and protests that had been taking place throughout the country, including on the streets of Berlin, had grown bigger and more persistent. Moreover, the fall of other Eastern European countries, communist governments like in Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia, had a domino effect on the Eastern Bloc. Aftermath. As the barrier came down, the people celebrated, but it is important to note that the fall of the Berlin Wall was not the sole reason for the end of the Cold War. The collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of communist rule in Eastern Europe were also key factors. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a moment of joy and celebration, not only for Germans but for the entire world. It marked the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new era of unity and cooperation in Europe. However, the fall of the wall also brought new challenges, as the process of reuniting Germany was not without difficulties and tensions. German reunification officially took place on October 3, 1990, and it was not an easy process. It required a great deal of negotiation and compromise, as well as significant economic resources, to bring the two halves of the country together. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a pivotal moment in history, and its legacy continues to shape the world we live in today. An interesting fact not many people know is that the Berlin Wall was not officially taken down by the East German government. Instead, it was breached by the crowd, and people in a peaceful demonstration took down the wall with hammers and chisels. Let us never forget the sacrifices and struggles of those who fought for freedom and unity. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more historical content.